How are you today? Namaste. We're finally out of the retrograde. I'm so thankful for that. You know, this was a doozy this time. You know what I mean? And some of the stuff that you sent me, Katrina, is just like otherworldly, to be honest. Otherworldly. You know what I mean? Um, I think, let's see, where can we go? Uh, how about this new commercial? I don't think I showed this commercial last time we was here. Let's see uh this commercial that Katrina sent me, and we go from there. Let's start with that.
Have y'all seen this new ad that China put out? Look at this ad and let's discuss. China said, y'all fat and lazy behinds could never.
Oh wow.
That ad was rude as hell, but I'm gonna ask this question. Are y'all sure y'all want the manufacturing jobs back the way y'all fighting for them?
Mm, mm, mm. Great
I don't
question.
know. Cause I can't even see myself sitting behind no sewing machine,
Mm,
let alone screwing some screws into a cell phone.
mm. I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? Oh wow. Oh hey, the real domain, the real self domain. What's going on, brother? How are you? Olathe, peace and homeless. How you doing? Peace, Naga, Mocha lady. Looks like AI. Does it? You know, I still can't tell when something's AI and when it's not. Only when it's like blatantly obvious can I really tell. Peace and blessings to the missus in the chat. Peace and blessings, Legacy Sigma. What's up? Divine Peace, Caribbean Grimoire. What's the deal? Peace, brother Konami. What's up, my brother? So, does anybody in the chat know this HBO? HBO has the best writers, in my opinion. They have the best writers because they have the best shows. Trine, or I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. Trime. It's about the aftermath of Katrina and the people, I guess, trying to adjust to life after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. A lot of the actors, a lot of the actors and actresses are in it from The Wire. Good looking on the astral. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Yes. You got the B6 and the B12. Okay. But like I said, when I was telling y'all before, the um I got a B complex. So I take at least 9 different supplements with my meals. Okay. So the B complex kind of narrows it down where I won't have to take like 12 of them. Peace, Chikezi. How you doing, brother? AI will be the main tool to use towards this. Oh, absolutely. Totally agree with that. Totally agree. Totally agree with that one. Wendell Pierce, yeah, Bunk was on that show. Right, exactly. I'm just wondering if this is a good show to get into. I've been considering it for a while, and I don't know. I just don't know yet. You know what I mean? Um, Anybody recommended, or I've been on a medieval slash Viking kind of binge lately. I did step into the world of the Game of Thrones. I do see the appeal. I do see the appeal. It's an engaging ass show. It really is. It's very entertaining. I already hate one of the characters, you know. And it's an amazing show. I'm not sorry that it took me so long to get into it because, like I said, when the crowd goes one way, I go the opposite direction. And I do that by default. You know what I mean? Um, Peace, Bobby L. What's the deal? What is the deal? Um, Nobody said anything so far, so I'm going to assume nobody has watched it, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to eventually get into it. I was just curious if any of my audience has actually watched it yet. Peace, Sister Righteous. How you doing? How are you and the Mister? Game of Thrones is a great show. You've watched it twice. Okay. All right. Cool. Namaste, Katrina. Namaste. Good looking on the commercial that China put out. I would say something about it. However, I try to stay away from politics on this show. You know, it's a good show. It's slept on for the history because it's rich. It's slept on for the history. The history of New Orleans. Is that what you mean? Could you elaborate just a touch, please? That was going to be my main theme today anyway, history. Um, I don't know if history is being taught anymore, but some of these, when I was watching Vikings and Vikings Valhalla, I knew who Leif Erikson was way before I turned on Vikings Valhalla. You know, the history of New Orleans. Okay, cool. It slept on. Now look at what Konami said. It's slept on for the history because it's rich. People tend to take history as nothing, like it's unimportant. What matters is the present, and they steered the masses towards that point, which is why people tend to just disregard history like it's unimportant. You know what I'm saying? China's pushing the propaganda. What show are we talking about? We're talking about Treem or Treme or however you say that word on HBO. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. A lot of the people that are on Vikings and Valkyries Valhalla, as well as The Last Kingdom, I knew by hearing. You know what I mean? I knew who these characters were. They've based these shows on these particular time periods. They say Game of Thrones is more medieval, more fantasy, more fiction. Okay, that's what they say. All right, I totally disagree. All right, I think that the stuff that they put in there, the locations, the magic. I didn't know magic was in it, to be honest, until I started watching it. I'm on the middle season 2, and it's like in between my work during the day, in between doing client work or what I'm doing work for myself or whatever I'm doing, in between sessions, reading sessions, whatever, I'm watching an episode. That's how engaging the show is to me. And like I said, I already hate one of the characters. Okay. Understand Caucasians weren't already here. They weren't always here. Y'all should know this, right? That's obvious. Okay. So where they come from? Guess where they came from? Y'all know this. You gotta know this. You know this. Okay. They came from England or from the north. Let's just say it that way. The north. Games of Thrones followed up House of the Dragon. Great. Okay. I will put that in the queue as well. Thanks for that. Okay. This is why history is important. Any of you who are trying to understand why things are in America the way they are and the way it's ruled, you can look at the show, these shows that show medieval times, and you know, you can get it from there. That's why history is so important. Okay. How many people like to read though? Honestly. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about on a mass level. Technology has taken over so much, people hate to read. I know people who practice the occult that hate to read. Maybe one or two people. It's not a lot of people, but it's just that important. Okay. I believe history has to be channeled as a. Oh, okay. Yes, we are in agreement. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Because people are not going to follow up. So they think Game of Thrones is fantasy. This is why I have such a problem with people who say, like, because of the technological advances that the United States has and the way America is at present, that this is the greatest country in the world. And so whatever the people did in the past doesn't matter. They were primitive. You know, they were primitive. I'm trying to understand how anyone can think this, right? How anyone can think that the cultures of the past are just completely irrelevant because of the way civilization looks today. Just like the real self-domain just said, history has to be channeled at this point. Greetings, Christelle. How are you? Y'all know I'm fond of saying that they put everything in movies. They put stuff in this one too. Game of Thrones. All right. They put stuff in this too. It can be something very subtle. But I remember like either the last live or the live before that, I said it's rare that I can watch something and just be completely entertained by it. Now is I'm picking up stuff, downloads, as a lot of people like to say. I'm recognizing things that I've read before. I'm recognizing historical locations and points. You know what I mean? Check this out right here. I thought this was very telling. Pay attention to the melanated man here.
When my dragons are grown, we will take back what was stolen from me and destroy those who have wronged me. We will lay waste to armies and burn cities to the ground. Turn us away, and we will burn you first.
Ah, you are a true Targaryen. Only, as you said a moment ago, if we don't let you into the city, you will all die. And so...
Retreating in fear from a little girl is unbecoming of the greatest city that ever was or will be.
The discussion is over, Zaro, Zoan, Doxos. The 13 have spoken.
I am one of the 13, and I am still speaking.
The girl threatens to burn our city to the ground, and you would invite her in for a cup of wine?
She is the mother of dragons. Do you expect her to watch her people starve without breathing fire? I believe we can allow a few Dothraki through our gates without dooming our city. After all, here I am, a savage from the Summer Isles, and Karth still stands.
Our decision is final.
He said a savage from Sumer is what he said. In case you never heard that. Oh, not never heard it. In case you didn't catch that, he said Sumer, where civilization actually started, according to scholars. The oldest writing comes from Sumer. Okay. The Necronomicon, parts of that grimoire come from Sumer. Matter of fact, it's in the introduction. You know what I mean? Further into that scene, a couple scenes later, they show the city. And I'm like, wow, that looks like the Middle East. I mean, it is the Middle East, but I'm coming to a point, I promise. I never watched the Game of Thrones. I'm just now checking it out myself. You know, it's excellent. I get the appeal. I get the appeal. What's up, Mike IL? Peace. I am Floki. That's what's up. That's what I'm talking about. Peace, cosmic chaos. What's up? It shows historical points and locations. I mean, the episode that this one's in that I just showed you, it showed a lot to me. You know what I mean? They never do anything like coincidentally. They do everything very intentionally. You know what I'm saying? They just showed. He said the savage from Sumer. Wow. Okay. Remember, the Necronomicon is a Sumerian, Egyptian, and Babylonian grimoire. You know what I mean? Then I go to Reddit because I'm in a lot of I guess groups in Reddit. Great resource. And I find this. They were talking, I'm not going to read this whole thing. You know, they're talking about that city. First of all, its placement seems to be similar to Constantinople, Istanbul. You know what I mean? And then it goes down. Okay. As for OT being surrounded by desert, I couldn't think of any particular harshly surrounded prosperous city. So the first thing that jumps out to me as a comparison is modern day Dubai, being a rich coast city surrounded by harsh desert. All right. Then it goes on, and some of the things that they're talking Aztecish. Is that what I mean? Karth resembles Rome. Remember, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Rome and Constantinople. To me, this gives me Greek and Minoan vibes. Okay. They talk about Scandinavians, Greeks, you know, Egyptians, nobility here. I'm just kind of skimming through this particular, it's a long paragraph. That's why I'm not reading the whole thing. You know, but they mention the Egyptians a couple of times. They mention Persia right here. You see what I'm saying? They even mentioned Babylon. Right? So why am I saying all this? Because I'm saying they put quite a bit of history into the Game of Thrones. Like I said, if you're not historically astute, you would not know any of this. Remember, I read for fun. That's one of my major hobbies, you know. So it's funny to me that they touted this show as possibly one of the greatest shows ever in TV. And I'm noticing all the things that they're putting in it. And I'm only on season 2. Whoa, I never caught that he was a Sumerian. So yes, it's awesome. That racism again. Read it? Oh, okay. All right. Here's another scene. Although I have my issues, as stated in a couple of lives ago, my issues with the Moors. I think this is a Moor that's in here too. I'm noticing, I mean, like it's quick. It's subtle. Okay. They don't linger around any of this like for a long time. You know what I mean? Here's another scene. Check this one out. This is actually a funny scene. Okay.
Come with me and plunder the greatest city in Westeros. You'll be the richest man in Leeds. I'm the most famous. They'll be singing songs about you as long as men have voices to sing.
Salador's son is a good name for songs.
It is.
One thing, I want the queen.
Queen.
Cersei, I want her. I'll sail with your fleet, all 30 of my ships, And if we don't drown at the bottom of Blackwater Bay, I will fuck this blonde queen and I'll fuck her well.
This war isn't about you. We're not attacking King's Landing so that you can rape the Queen.
I'm not going to rape her. I'm going to fuck her.
As if she would just let you.
You don't know how persuasive I am. I never tried to fuck you.
So, like I had said previously, who were the pirates? We established this before. Okay, who was the pirates? Who navigated or circumnavigated the entire earth way before Columbus? The Moors. And he's dressed like one. All right. Like I said, this scene is short, but I happened to catch it, caught my attention immediately. Okay. Speaking of speaking on another subject, if you have Clubhouse, Brother Konami did an excellent show Sunday, this past Sunday. Brother Konami, if you're still here, please post the link where people can catch the replay. He goes in on specific movies. He really goes in. Salute the Brother Konami for that show he put on Clubhouse. Okay. Y'all with me? Is everybody all right? Y'all mighty quiet. What's up? Did I lose y'all? Should we go to another clip? What we doing? Y'all notice everybody's putting action figures on Facebook lately? Monkey see, monkey do. I want to be a monkey just like you. There we go. Absolutely. Absolutely. He just posted the link. He did an excellent show Sunday. If you got time, I highly suggest checking that show out. He went in for like 4 hours, I think. He went in. Excellent job. Excellent job. I was thoroughly enlightened and entertained. You know what I mean? Oh, don't forget, check out my website. Since I don't do much advertising on my own site. Here's an evil eye spell bottle against the evil eye. You know, I do sell stuff like that. You know, the link is here. The Magical Elite Supply Shop. Okay. Oh, the Book of Clarence Part 2 is coming. Oh, let me show that. Okay, there's the link for the Clubhouse, for his show for the Clubhouse. Okay. He's already done the Book of Clarence Part 1 right after it showed last year. So I guess this is Part 2 of that. Okay. Going back to what I said the last time, okay, time loop. Sometimes I get stuck and I'll binge watch time loop movies or mind bending movies. Switching gears just for a second, okay. These movies right here, you should watch. They're not widely known, but they are awesome. I posted this on Facebook a couple years ago. Says 2022 here. Plus one is very fucking interesting. So is Coherence, Deja Vu, The Butterfly Effect, Source Code, one of my favorites. I love how they did that movie. Predestination, that's another one. Triangle will fuck your head up. I guarantee it. Even the ending. That will fuck your head up. But plus one, everybody I've mentioned this movie to has never seen it. Let's go to another clip. I don't know what this is. Just taking just a short break to show y'all these clips because, like I said, Katrina sends me a lot, but I haven't been able to get to a lot of them. But check this out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't.
What the fuck is that? And then the one after that.
Grand Awakenings from Autodidactic Wellness,
Look at this
where
shit.
we be love. And I want to show you the difference between grapes. Look at you, wonderful bees eating the grapes. And seedless grapes. Excuse me, you guys don't got no friends. Nobody likes you. Yeah, let me show you that again. Hey, you wonderful. Look at a bee. We got hornets. You're eating it. You're not collecting things. Look at you. That's a wonderful grape, huh? And little seedless, what the hell is who don't eat that thing? All right, do something good today. When you realize that you're nature, maybe you should follow the path of nature. Hey, you guys are cute. Can I have that grape right there, please? Hey, can we split that one? Come on, I'm nature too. Yeah, do something good today. Follow nature.
They're not on the seedless grapes. Get that? Greetings. Delroy Johnson, how you doing, brother? What's up, astrology villain? That's what I'm talking about. All right. Another clip.
Spit out as a result of inbreeding. So we're not from here, then they are admitting that we're the aliens that came and built the pyramids and built the Sphinx and set up this government and all this other stuff that they claim are the blonde and blue-eyed giant Anunnaki. So it's like they're gonna tell one truth or the other. And at the end of the day, all the truth is gonna have to come out. So anything they say, you can slap upside their head with it. Oh, so we ain't from nowhere, so that means we're the aliens that came and made you, right? If you don't want to admit to that, then you better admit to the fact that we are the true man that set this up. But it ain't coming from some beings out. That's why they ain't showed up. Because they ain't gonna show up. Guess why they ain't gonna show up? Because they showed up a couple millions of years ago, and you the motherfucker sitting in the room. You the goddamn alien. If you don't understand this shit here, you wasting your damn time. Melanin is a series of amino acids. And they study the amino acids in us every day. And they know that our amino acids is changing. And the aliens they're talking about is us because we created them. Now let me go back this next so you can be sure on this because it's a government plot.
They don't know how old you are because your origin is not here on Earth. They know that. This place is weighed down by a gravitational pull, yet your hair moves on a levitational lift. You understand? So obviously you don't come from here. And it makes sense for the humans to come from here, being that this planet is 85, 95% water. So I forget what the percentages of water is. The majority of this planet is water, so it would make sense that this is a planet for water beings. Your humans are water beings. That's why your white men love being in the water. They don't wash themselves, but they love to be in the water. They love to be deep sea diving because they come from the water. You understand? We're not water people like that. We like to be in the sun on the damn beach somewhere because we are light people. We are solar people. They are water people. We bred them.
Okay. Does anyone recommend anything on vampires and werewolves? Oh, okay. Vampire. I still don't know how to say that word. Sanguinamicon. Oh yes, everything by Constantinopus or Constantinos. Damn, I don't know why I had such a hard time saying that. You know. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I know that the curriculum has changed these days. I don't know what they're teaching these children these days in school. Okay. But I don't think history like when I was in school is being taught. All right. So, but I guarantee that I'm going to find more gems as I go further along in the Game of Thrones. I guarantee that. Okay. Also, if you watch any of Bobby Hemmitt's lectures, he has given out so many books over the years. All right. This is not a book that he has given out. However, to go right back to the real self-domain's point about history being channeled, check out what it says here. This book by Edgar Casey on the Akashic Records. Okay. Any of these books will work right here. All right. The Book of Life. Okay. All right. There's no exaggeration to state that the computer has transformed what I was saying earlier and is still transforming the planet. Whether it's technology, transportation, communication, education, or entertainment, the computer age has revolutionized the globe in the ways that we understand and interact with one another. No segment of modern society has gone unaffected. The amount of information now stored in computer memory and crossing the internet highway daily is literally unfathomable. And yet, this vast complex of computer systems and collective databases cannot begin to come close to the power, the memory, or the omniscience recording capacity of the Akashic Records. Okay? For ease of understanding, the Akashic Records or the Book of Life can be likened to the universe's supercomputer system. Akasha, interestingly, Aaliyah's name in Queen of the Damned, her name was Akasha. Akasha comes from a Sanskrit word meaning boundless space, and is equated to the central storehouse of all information for every individual who has ever lived. More than just a reservoir of events, the Akashic Records contain every deed, word, feeling, thought, and intent that has occurred at any time in the history of the world. So this is billions of years. Much more than simply a memory storehouse, these Akashic Records are interactive. They have a tremendous influence upon our everyday lives, our relationships, our feelings and belief systems, and the potentials and probabilities we draw towards us. The Akashic Records contain a history, we talk about history today, of every soul since the dawn of creation. These records connect each of us to one another. They contain the stimulus for every archetypal symbol or mythic story which has ever deeply touched patterns of human behavior and experience. They have been the inspiration for dreams and invention. They draw us toward or repel us from one another. They mold and shape levels of human consciousness. They are a portion of divine mind. They are the unbiased judge and jury that attempt to guide, educate, and transform every individual to become the very best that she or he can be. They embody an ever-changing fluid array of possible futures that are called into potential as we interact and learn from the data that has already been accumulated. Information about these Akashic records, this book of life, can be found in folklore, in myth, and throughout the Old and New Testaments. Look at this. It is traceable at least as far back as Semitic peoples and includes the Arabs, the Assyrians, the Phoenicians, the Babylonians, and the Hebrews. Among each of these peoples was the belief that there's in existence some kind of celestial tablets which contain the history of humankind as well as all manner of spiritual information. All right. This is why they can come out with a Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? There is such a thing called the collective consciousness. All right. They're not just making stuff up. They're getting this information from somewhere. They're drawing the information from somewhere. Okay. This is why I'm going to have to get with one of my grands to see if they're learning history. Is history, those of you who have children, is history being taught still? I know it's kind of a weird question, but I'm genuinely curious if history is being taught. Like I said, I watched the Vikings Valhalla, and I knew Leif Erikson just by memory. I knew who that was. I learned the history. We learned about Vikings in medieval times. You see what I'm saying? Once I got older and got into the occult, that's when I started researching Babylonian, Assyrian, Semitic peoples. Okay. This is why I say that their cultures, their religions, their beliefs, and the way they live, their magic, their magical systems, as well as the Moors and their magical systems who came up with a bunch of stuff. Believe this. All right. Why is this so unimportant to how magic is practiced today? Okay. Why? Why is it that it's dismissed? And now you got all of these TikTokers who learn a thing or two and then they got it and then they're running with it. All right. Peace, Michael Surratt. Good thing about that, Magic, is the history we were taught was a lie too. They moved the goalposts with every generation born. Our true history is in our DNA. Excellent. Excellent. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay. You met a vampire in Chicago? I would love to meet a vampire. I really would. We are the extraterrestrial. I was just going to ask you a question about Akashic Records, Dame. Maybe my Gulf Coast, Louisiana hometown is full of them. Vampire. Oh, I believe that. That one I truly believe. Yeah. The vampire I met was named Tasha, and she said that she was 100 years old. Wow. Really? That had to be an experience for you to meet a vampire. Was she, what kind of vampire? There's different kinds of vampires. Okay. Yes, they still teach history. Okay. Those libraries they destroyed throughout history was the external replicas of our 12-strand DNA. We have the keys to those doors still. This is why I fuck with and encourage people to work with the Goetia. Some of those demons can teach you history. Okay, whether you believe in it internally or whether you believe in it externally, those powers, those energies can activate certain things in your DNA to help you learn and remember. Don't forget your dreams too. Sometimes those are historical. Sometimes you are traveling in the past, literally. Do not forget about the movie Deja Vu with Denzel Washington. I thought this was a very, very important movie as far as time travel and DNA. Why there are so many different channelings of the same major world events in human history? Should it all be the same storytellings? Confusion. They have to try and confuse you, though. You know what I mean? Good question. But they have to try and confuse you. What's up, Rayshawn Justice? Check out this, what Warlock says here. This is an old Not real old. It's a couple years old, but check out what Warlock Asylum says here.
It's been for a minute. I would say a little over 20 years. Like, and that wasn't the initiatory stages, but also just dealing with it, like with the 50 names and stuff like that. And I had worked with the 50 names for a long time. And after I saw how the 50 names worked, I was like, okay, I got to learn how to gate walk. And it took me a while, a lot of prayer. And I was kind of in a certain type of space when that happened too. But it worked out. Eventually I learned how to gate walk. And at that time, there was really nothing outside of the book itself and information by Dan Harms or other people criticizing the book. There wasn't any information out. So I was like, you know what, let me share my online journal so that other people who work with it, they could use it as a reference source. And that's how the whole thing began to open up a bit, you know. But it was like, it's, for me, it you know, sometimes I may step away, come back, but at the end of the day, you know, once you are truly initiated into those energies, they're like your family. However you see them, they're like your direct family. You can work with this or that, but it's still like, okay, that's like going to my aunts and uncle's house, but this is, you know, mom and dad, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, there's been so much negativity that's been put out about the book, but it's a very, very layered tone. You know, it's like the ultimate grimoire. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I've always said that it came from the other side here. You know, there's a lot of legends around, you know, the next origins. You know, I even have my own sources and stories behind that. Maybe we'll get into a little bit later in the dialogue, you know. But I feel like it's a divine book.
Very divine, very divine. There's so many books that you can go to outside of the neck to help you better understand it. This is the book you were talking about, though. I think Daniel Harms come out with the Necronomicon. You know, a lot of people, I think, also get it confused with the one by H.P. Lovecraft.
Yes. And let me touch on that for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because that's where it gets a little bit twisted. When people practice Necronomicon spiritualism, in lack of a better word, or alchemy, they're not looking at trying to imitate something that a fictional writer is dealing with. In all actuality, academic science has used about 81 terms that came out of fiction. Now, those people who criticize people, you know, trying to say that they're imitating something of Lovecraft, are they going to imitate what academic science is doing? The word robot came out of fiction. You know, why aren't they attacking that? Oh, this is not what, whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So that's stuff that people do out of ignorance. And some of it is done because it's hard to put your foot in cold water. Like for you, you have to be the one to step out and you know, it's easier for people to criticize something than look at it objectively.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at it objectively. Why do you think that people want to scare other people away from it? Is it because of the power it contains, or?
Absolutely. And as you know, unfortunately, in the world of pseudo-occultism, you know, and pseudo-alchemy, there's a lot of egos.
A lot.
Instead of like, you know, really being honest, people get to a certain place where they feel that they're on guru status. You know what I'm saying? And so if they rejected something or may have put something out prior, it's hard for them to admit that I'm laughing because to admit that they were wrong. I'm laughing because I remember there were certain prolific authors that came out and said some things about the neck, and they did it on online articles. And when we were coming through with Papers in the Attic, like, you know, a series of articles about the Necronomicon by Simon, these articles start to disappear.
Should I get the upgrade or?
Okay, I can stop it there. You know what I mean? So confusion, what I was saying, they have to confuse you about the true origins of things, specifically the Necronomicon. You know what I mean? Everything that we would need in future generations was given to us, but they remember when I said I think it was last week. Remember when I said expand your consciousness? I mean, they left all these Easter eggs, and Easter's coming up. They left all these Easter eggs. All right. Sad thing about it is niggas don't read. Niggas don't read. Some parts of Game of Thrones that seem interesting. Why the aristocracy feared the sparrows. Come on, Bobby. Don't do that. I'm only on season 2. I don't know what any of that is. All right, so we're gonna ignore that. Not ignoring you, Bobby, but I don't want no spoilers. I wanna travel this one. They're teaching my 11-year-old moral focus. Moral focus. That's interesting that they're teaching that. Moral focus. Okay. Greetings, Lisa McBride. How are you today? Some more from Game of Thrones. All right. The use of soft skills by the high towers to gain power. The way the Blackwater mercenary gains noble status. How a little person survives and maneuvers throughout. You're talking about the dwarf, I'm assuming. He's one of the main characters, too. I think that's who you're talking about. This nigga get more booty than most, a lot, not most, but a lot of dudes I know. I often say it came from the other side here. Exactly. That quote by Warlock makes me think about Ghost and how dude taught Patrick Swayze how to walk on the other side. Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Let's see if I had any more. That dialogue with me and Warlock. Check it out when you get the time. It's now 3 years old. Okay. But Warlock Asylum, he's a master. He's truly an adept. He knows how to word his words, so he can say something that you can clearly understand. So there'll be no misunderstanding and no confusion. If you get a chance, watch the Gatewalkers dialogue, me, him, and Terrain. I think that these interviews that I've done with them, not to my own horn, but I think these were very insightful interviews. The movie The Great Wall is good. Is that the one with wasn't that Matt Damon? Matt Damon's in that one. Use the herb named Eyebright. Helps with your eyesight, can cure poor vision. I have always recommended to your glasses will become obsolete. Eyebright? Okay, cool. The bad part about it is these are reading glasses. These are not prescription glasses. Like far away, I can see perfectly. I've read so much that it kind of damaged my reading up close. My nearsighted. Brother, you got to bring. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ask him. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Yes, I do want to bring them back. The situation with Carmelo might be another example of the reason to switch to homeschooling. That kid went through a lot over some school bullying. Now it's mixed into the. You're right. You're absolutely right, Bobby. You're absolutely correct. But remember what I said, though. This came out the same day Carmelo Anthony of the Knicks gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. Nothing they do is by accident. That's perfect example right there. But if you go to any article or any post on Facebook, you will see the race wars. You will see Caucasians calling for this young man's death. You'll see that. You know what I mean? You will see it. And this is why I say those of you, anybody in here, but whoever, Those of you still trying to understand these people, watch stuff like the Game of Thrones. That's their ancestors. You know what I mean? The way they think, and Bobby's good at telling us, he says they lack empathy and other stuff that comes natural to us. You know what I mean? You got to think about slavery or what they taught of slavery and what they have done throughout history. Where does this behavior come from? How could you, as a human being, do this to another human being? Do you see the stuff that this king did? Joffrey, I think his name. That's the one I said I hate. I hate this little bastard. The stuff that not just him, but the kings and queens of England throughout history did some horrific shit. Just think about just how they torture people just to gain a confession from whether it's a lie or not. The way they torture people, you see what I'm saying? The way they're showing their own history in Game of Thrones, Vikings, Valhalla, or whatever. Anything about medieval times, they are showing their own history. You know, it's not racism. Any Caucasian who may be watching this, it's not racism. History has actually been also written about by other white people. The Iceman inheritance come immediately to mind. Behold, the dead pale horse comes immediately to mind. Primal is a cartoon with no dialogue, and yet it's so telling. Primal, it's new, came out within the last one or 2 years. Is that what I'm saying? But Game of Thrones is their own history, y'all. It's their own history. Okay? You just got to pay attention. That's it. Pay attention. Okay? If you or anyone else stop watching for entertainment purposes and just to gain knowledge, you go so much further. It definitely seems like some Freemason. Absolutely. 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 Got a few warlock. He's one of those. Yes, he is on a totally different level. He really is. Okay. I could say even more about the brother, but I won't. I'll refrain from doing that. You know, if you read his books, if you even speak to him, you know he has a humble, kind of charismatic way about him. You see, he's calm all the time. He's always in control of himself. You know, very confident in the knowledge. So watch that one that I just showed y'all a clip of, and you know, the one where me, him, and Terrain were on. He is on a different level. He really is. Did you see that video of that little girl playing with that seal? No, I missed that one. Can you put in a chat or something? Playing with a seal? Doesn't sound familiar. That's true. And let's not forget the other side of the coin. Planet Earth is a lockdown mechanism. And even the people that look like us are here to keep us weight down here to keep coming back here. Azazel Bay, who I speak of often, said this is a prison planet. All right. Get that comic book if you have not gotten it yet. All right. The second one's coming soon. Okay. There's a YouTube influencer named Jason Black who mentioned Game of Thrones. He says a way to oh, yes. Always coming with the thunder, Bobby. Yes, yes. There you go, right there. The psychology of white supremacy. Oh, yes, yes. I'm seeing this just in the first season. You know what I mean? There's a reason I've hated the kings in Vikings. I've hated the kings in what's the other one? The Last Kingdom, or what's it called? Yeah, The Last Kingdom, Vikings Valhalla. I've hated all those those royal families and shit. I've hated all that shit. Yes, indeed. History. You know what I mean? These things get put out for you. You can study. They tell you everything. I can't say that enough. that they say everything in these series, in these movies. You know what I mean? So you don't have to actually just study history. Okay. I mean, these movies are cheat sheets, cheat codes. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like to read, don't worry. Watch some of these shows. I'm going to start recommending Game of Thrones. Okay? That's the art of war. You're supposed to study your enemy. I'm not calling all white people my enemies. I'm not saying that. Okay? But what runs this society? Ask yourself that. What runs this society? Okay? Who runs it? What's good, Brother Moore? You're always late, so I expect it. I saw that video clip of the girl. She could get the seal to spin by twirling her index finger. It seems like her God consciousness is still untampered with. She is in tune with nature. Let's go find it. Let's go find it, Robert. Okay, I see it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Wow. Music getting on my nerves. He's only coming to her. Look at that. Wow. God consciousness. Look at that. Wow. Indeed. Indeed. It's on TikTok? Okay. That's some true divine. Yes, it is. Yes, that is amazing. It is. That's what's up. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Very cool. My spirit resonate with the ancient world, so I will always gravitate to shows like Game of Thrones. Good. Continue that. You know what I mean? Bobby, not Bobby that's in the chat. Bobby Hemmett has always said, they always telling themselves, okay? People just find it entertaining. I just think it's important. That's me personally, and take what you will from my words. But, you know, learning the past helps you with your future. Maroon Beauty, how are you? How long you been sitting there? Look at God. Indeed. Indeed. That seal didn't go to nobody but that little girl. Beautiful. Beautiful. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm into Game of Thrones. I'm tapped in. I'm totally tapped in. And like I said, just the clips that I showed y'all, there's more to it than that. There's way more to it. Like Jason Momoa's, his tribe, I should say. The desert people. Okay. Those are from real tribes that existed. And of course, if you stay out in the sun, those people aren't that bright. I mean, they show certain, like half of the people are my color. You know what I mean? They tell you all this shit. And the clip that I showed y'all, okay, he says Sumer Savage. You know what I mean? Remember, Sumer was sacked a couple times. Okay, these old civilizations were overthrown. All right. So what were they before they became what you see now? You know what I mean? What's up, Zo boy? What's going on? You're gonna have to catch the replay. I'm about to get off here. You know, her ability is an example of what a copper tone person is capable of without the trauma, without the deadly organ radiation or armoring of mind control. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Absolutely correct. Okay. Okay. You know, I'm always gonna ask how you're doing, you know. But here's yet another reason why to expand your consciousness, learn some magic, fuck with these spirits and demons, whether you believe they're inside of you or outside of you or both. It's important. What they say in The Wire, what did Lester Freeman say in The Wire? All the pieces matter. All the pieces matter. All the pieces matter. I'll be back Thursday with a special guest who's been here before. Okay. Unless something goes wrong, you know, I don't see anything going wrong, but my guest will be here. Y'all have enjoyed it. Y'all have asked for her to come back. I'm going to reach out to Warlock, see if he wants to come back, you know. But thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure interacting with y'all, you know, and thank you for your support over the years. Thank you for your support. You know what I'm saying? This is why I continue to do it. Okay. I'm the one and only, the only one, Magick LaCroix. I will see y'all Thursday. And as I greet you as always, namaste. Good? Okay. The Void, they try. Oh, yes. I just saw that. I just binged the Star Trek movies. Brother Konami suggested that to me. To achieve humpback whales, which are extinct in their own time. Yep. I remember that one. Yeah. Peace, gratitude, peace, peace. Everybody, peace. Don't forget, check out Brother Konami's show on Clubhouse, y'all. Okay. Thanks to all of y'all. Again, I'm out of here. Peace. Peace. Namaste. All right, I'm going, y'all.